This episode of Off My Shelf contains coarse language and adult conversation. Listener discretion is advised. Hello, my name is Tracy James and welcome to Off My Shelf, a podcast about movies that are well off my shelf, where we go through my DVDs and talk about the movies in my collection. In this episode, Sarah Behl joins me in talking about two movies that sound like fairy tales, but aren't, with Once Upon a Time in China and Once Upon a Time in Mexico. Welcome!
Hello!
Thank you for joining me today.
I'm excited to be here.
Just to let you know, she's here in person, and this is only like the second episode I've done in person in like 3 years.
I think I was also the last one in person.
Were you as well?
Yeah.
Oh my god, this is crazy. So things are apparently getting back to quote unquote normal.
New normal.
A new normal, yes. I accept new normal. It's fine. Because then we could just choose how we want to do this and where we want to do this. We have the technology. It's amazing.
We can rebuild it. We can make it better.
If you get that, you're old. Just letting you know. It's fine. So I don't even know where to start with these movies because
Did you say the titles yet?
I did.
Okay.
I did. I called them fairy tales, but they're not. With Once Upon a Time in China and Once Upon a Time in Mexico, which it's surprising to me that I have two movies that technically have practically the same title. I mean, they're on different sides of the world, but you know what I'm talking about.
When I was looking up these movies initially, there was lots of Once Upon a Times. Like, there's Once Upon a Time TV show.
Yes.
There was Once Upon a Time Shanghai. Yeah, I never even heard of that one.
Really?
There was lots of Once Upon a Times.
Okay. I guess I didn't actually have to look it up, so it's fine. Oh, that reminds me, I should probably have like the IMDb open so we can talk about like the actors and stuff. Because I'm not going to remember that stuff. That's just crazy. This is why we have the internet, people. It wasn't for giving like good knowledge to people. It was to give like cheesy trivia to people. That's the only knowledge that we really need.
I still exclusively use the internet for hacking the planet.
Hack the planet! Oh, that's right. There's also Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. How could I forget about that one? That's a big deal.
It's a Tarantino.
There's also in the West, in America, in Wonderland. There's also Once Upon a Forest. I don't know what that means. It's fine. But I'll tell you, China does not show up very high on that list.
It didn't. I had to borrow this one from Tracy because I couldn't find it anywhere else. Not even to stream it anywhere. Or, like, I think I could purchase it on the Cineplex app for $5, but...
Yeah, don't do that. No. Mm-mm.
I didn't.
Yeah. I have already... Actually, no. I think these two are movies that I inherited from my brother, to be honest. But I haven't rewatched them since he's given them to me. So it's been, like... I'm going to make myself sound really old, like 20 years. Like, it's been a long time since I've watched either of these movies. And I think I told you, Sarah, that when I gave them to you, I'm like, here's 3 things I remember about all of these movies. I'm like, the first one, Jet Li's in it. The second one, it has like Antonio Banderas, and it's part of a trilogy. That's all I remembered about either of these movies. What was it?
I don't think I've ever watched Once Upon a Time in China. And I didn't think I'd ever watched Once Upon a Time in Mexico until I heard a line that I still quote to this day.
Okay. What line is it?
Are you a Mexican or a Mexican?
Okay, that was one of my notes. And I was so angry about that line.
Oh my God. It's such a terrible line, but it's kind of a hilarious line, but it's terrible.
So bad. The worst part is they bring it back later in the movie.
Oh no!
Where Danny Trejo was just like, "Look, I can do whatever I want. I'm a Mexican," and I was like, "No, this is not where this is going. We are not doing this. Oh my God.
Are we too early into it to play a game called Mexican or Mexicant? Because I just like to just throw this out there. Willem Dafoe, Mexicant.
Mexicant indeed. Well, I mean, within the movie... Oh no, he does play like a Mexican.
He does. Spanish. Yeah. He's speaking Spanish.
Yes. Well, because there's one part in the movie where they talk about like how he like escaped from the States but is a Mexican citizen, so they can't extradite him. And so I was just like, oh no, he's playing an American in Mexico. But I'm like, no, maybe that means he's a Mexican. But also his daughter is Eva Mendes. So I'm just like, what is happening here? Like, this is just not working for me in any way, shape, or form.
Like, I think he's supposed to be a Mexican.
Oh, God.
But, like, those blue eyes? No, Mexicant.
This is it. Okay, you just made this movie even worse.
It's terrible.
I'm going to tell you this right now. One of my notes for this movie is, I hate this movie. Okay.
I also hated the movie.
It's so bad. Oh, my God. It is so, so bad. If you don't know, this movie is directed by Robert Rodriguez, who has directed many a movie. He directed, like, it's Dawn of the Dead, right? It's the Sarah Behl one. He did Dawn of the Dead. He did From Dusk Till Dawn. He did, like, the Grindhouse movies. He's also always paired with, like, Quentin Tarantino on a regular basis. But he always makes, it's, like, over-the-top, like, kitschy action flicks. I'm okay with that. I usually have a lot of fun with that. But this movie is garbage. I'm going to say it. It's garbage.
I was super disappointed that it wasn't the sequel From Dusk Till Dawn because I'm pretty sure it was just based on like Salma Hayek, Cheech Marin, Mickey Rourke, like 75% of the cast is the same in both of these movies, and I was wondering where the vampires were.
And you get to the end, you're like, where the fuck are the
vampires?
Where are the
vampires?
Oh my, I think vampires would have just, like, made this better. Like, just, if they just came out of nowhere, just, like, blanketed the earth and suddenly there were vampires, I'd have been like, okay, now this makes sense somehow.
I would have watched that movie.
Yes. But the movie as it is, I can see why
bad.
I never watched it again. It's just horrendous.
I don't think I've ever seen anything other than this movie as in this trilogy or whatever. So it also made zero sense to me. The story is completely nonsense.
Okay, so if you don't know, this is the third movie in the El Mariachi series. So the first movie is El Mariachi, second movie is Desperado, and then there's this movie. Antonio Banderas plays El Mariachi, who is he's a mariachi band guy, essentially. Like, he plays, like, his cool Spanish guitar and, like, sings and whatever. But he's also an assassin, and he goes around, like, killing people. And then he meets Salma Hayek, and they fall in love. And there's all action sequences where they're trying to, like, kill them and all this kind of stuff. And my memory of the one I remember is Desperado. And my memories of it is that it's, like, it's weird, but it's cool. And, like, the action is, like, over the top, but a lot of fun and all that kind of stuff. And they're also directed by Robert Rodriguez, which is fine. And my whole thing was like, I was going to watch this one, and if I liked it, I'll be like, oh, maybe I'll, rewatch Desperado. And then I watch this, I'm just like, if I rewatch Desperado, it's probably just going to ruin everything. I'm just going to leave it as a pleasant memory and just walk away. Because this movie just, I don't know, sucked everything out of my soul, and I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
I think it was the explosive scenes that it was just like, explosion! And then, like, also, was Salma Hayek's, like, did she only exist in, like, flashbacks because she was dead in this movie?
According to this movie, yes.
That was so disappointing because she's on the freaking cover of the movie and she's only exists as a ghost. It's just... This movie did not pass the Bechdel test.
It's not even a ghost. It's just like something that haunts his mind.
A flashback. Mm-hmm. And like, so disappointing.
Of her. Well, technically, it was all of them. Like, it was him, her, and their daughter getting gunned down in the street, and he survives, but Salma Hayek and his daughter die.
And she's wearing like terrible like midriff outfits. Like, she's exposing so much skin.
Yeah.
Salma Hayek can't exist in a fully functional outfit. It's only very revealing.
Yeah.
But yet she's a highly deadly assassin.
Yeah. She's got knives that she throws, you know. I mean, that was part of the story Cheech Marin was telling. He's like, yeah, everything, you know, is just like, what's the word for it? It's just, not hyperbole. That's not what he says. He's like, it's just like a little extra, you know, people put a little flavor on these stories. So like the story like he was telling was a little ridiculous, like, cause they were talking about like an assassination attempt by El Mariachi, and he's like sitting there and he gets up and he's got his like gun, guitar case, which he does have in the other movies. He does. So that's like a thing that he does. But then Salma Hayek shows up and she like throws her knives and she like kills like 4 people with like a flick of her hand, but you know, a midriff is out and like an asymmetrical lined skirt with her espadrilles on. It's a whole sequence.
How is it that she's so freaking deadly without her child, but yet the moment she's holding her daughter's hand, she's like, oh, suddenly I forgot how to defend myself.
Yeah. I don't have answers for you. Again, maybe if I watched Desperado again, I'd be like, oh, that's how it is, but I probably also would have hated myself for watching Desperado again.
You'd have to be pretty desperado to watch Desperado.
Exactly. And remember, we're not saying Despacito. That's a very different thing. Okay. The funny thing is that just kept, like, Despacito just kept popping into my head every time I said Desperado, and I'm just like, no, our culture has ruined my brain. This is not acceptable. I don't like it. It's a real problem, guys. It's a real problem. But I hate this movie.
Yeah, this movie sucks.
Yeah. It's also overly complicated for the sake of being complicated.
I have no idea what happens in this movie. Okay. And there's no vampires.
There's no vampires. So essentially what it is that we haven't even talked about Johnny Depp yet.
Ew.
Johnny Depp, who's also on the cover, isn't even like the big bad in the movie.
He's just annoying. He's just stupid.
Oh my god, it's so fucking stupid. But he's the one who kind of like sets a lot of it in motion, I suppose, in some way.
I don't even know why he's there. If he wasn't in this movie, the movie would still equally be as shitty.
Agreed.
Like, he doesn't add anything to the story. I don't know why he's there. If anything, he has very questionable scenes with a child, which I do not like and am very uncomfortable by.
Who he swears at and puts in a lot of danger.
Yeah, he makes him hold a gun.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, he also tries to talk this child into shooting somebody in the face. And
yes.
It's like, I don't want to kill people. This is all in Spanish that you can't actually, like, whatever. And then the kid's like, hands him back his gun. And then he lies the kid on the floor and was like, tell me where to aim. And the kid's like, to the left. And then he shoots some dude in the head. So yay.
And I don't know what the purpose of that scene was for either. Like, I don't know how that moved the story forward in any regard. I have no idea. Also, is it like Julio Iglesias' son in the movie?
Yes.
Enrique
Iglesias. Yes. He is also
pre-mole removal.
So true. Oh my god. I love the fact that they when you first, like, he randomly comes in like the end of the movie because Antonio Banderas goes back to a mariachi place and meets up with him, and I'm like, were you in the other movie? Which I'm not going to find out because I'm not going to watch it. And so then it's just and he's just like, where's my guitar case? And he's like, I never thought you'd come for this case. And he's like, yeah, I will. And I'm like, are we supposed to know who you are? Like, what is happening?
Who are you? Why are you here?
I don't know.
Also, like, Cheech Marin. Like, none of the characters are explained why they are there.
I know for a fact Cheech does show up in the other movies.
Okay, that's good. Except he dies in this one.
Yes. Because
and, like, at the beginning, too. I was so disappointed.
Yeah, I thought he'd be, like, coming back more often. But no.
I was here for
And
Cheech.
for some reason, Johnny Depp does an anal cavity, even though he already found what he was looking for somewhere else in the body. And I was like, why is this necessary? And mind you, Cheech Marin was already dead. And then he does the anal cavity search. So, I don't know. Is that necrophilia?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. So again, I don't know what's going on with that. I don't.
There's so many questionable choices.
There's questionable choices and just general questions that I'm never going to answer and I'm never going to be able to answer. I also have very few notes on this movie, as Sarah can see on my screen right now. One of them I was like, yay, Clash of the Titans lunchbox. He also gives a second lunchbox with money in it, but I couldn't see what was on it, and I was very upset about it. I was just like, what? And I rewound it like 2 times, like, I can't see what that is. What is it? It's fine. I'll get over it.
Because he only wants $10,000.
Yeah. Yeah, because nobody's going to kill you over $10,000. I'm like, I mean...
Johnny was going to kill him over $10,000.
Oh my God. Okay. You have brought up something I have questions about. Which is a thing.
The fake arm?
The fake arm. Okay. This man has a fake arm that is covered in maroon cloth to match his maroon jacket for some reason. Sure. And then at the end of the movie, while this man is blinded, like his eyes have literally been removed from his head, and he's wearing sunglasses, somehow he manages to attach this arm to his body, but it is covered now in black cloth that matches his outfit perfectly, which he just randomly put on because he's blind. How does that work?
I was just so distracted by his giant cannabis leaf on his belt buckle. Oh
my God.
That I'm like, oh, is that really what he chose to wear?
But Michael, so everybody in town knows about his character, it seems, and he's about town. But every time you see him, his hair is different, or he's got like a different mustache, and you're just like, are you different personas? Are these different? Like, are you trying to hide from somebody? But everybody seems to know who you are. What are you doing? Why is this what we're doing?
I have no idea what his role is in this movie or how he relates to any of the other characters.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know that he randomly kills people and that he's unreliable and that, like, he's just an agent of chaos.
Essentially, yes. But he's apparently, like, with the CIA, I think.
Is he? I don't know that.
I don't know for sure.
I know he's not a vampire.
He's not a vampire. He's not a... What are the servants of the vampires called? I forget what they're called. I don't know.
Sire? No.
Or maybe
they're sired.
Maybe I'm thinking about Blade. Maybe that's a different thing.
Yeah.
It's fine. But yeah, no vampire involved with him whatsoever. But yeah, like, his character is just confusing. Because he shows up and it's like, I'm hiring El Mariachi, which is Antonio Banderas, and every chance he gets, he tries to kill him before he does what he's supposed to do. I'm like, but isn't this going against your plan? And then every time he lives, he's like, I was just testing you, it's fine.
No, I killed this other random person for making an excellent meal, no less.
Yeah, you're like, it was some speech about, like, having, like, a balance, and if something's too good, you have to destroy it or something. And I was like, this meal is really delicious, so I'm going to shoot the cook. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
I think that makes him a Mexicant.
A Mexicant. I agree.
He's a Mexicant.
I absolutely agree. I didn't like any of that whatsoever. I just sat here being just confused, and then I'd play on my phone. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm watching a movie. Right. I don't know. And then there was something about the president, and then there was something about, like, a cartel, and there was something about, like, a retired FBI agent, and then Eva Mendes shows up, and then at the end she's like, I'm his daughter, and I'm like, whose daughter are you? And then Johnny Depp shoots her, and then a guy falls out of a window at some point, and there's randomly money in a basement, and then what?
I could say for 100% certainty, the only joy I experienced watching this movie was that I remembered at a recent point that I rewrote the lyrics to Lady Gaga's Bad Romance to Danny Trejo.
I don't know what that means. Should I know what that means?
I'll demonstrate. Whoa, Danny Trejo.
I'm sorry, folks. That I caused that. That was my fault. I apologize.
You'll never hear that song the same way again.
Never again. No. Yeah, and also Danny Trejo was in it. Sorry,
Danny Trejo is it. He's the best part of this movie.
Of course he is. Yeah, he shows up and he's like tough guy, and then he shoots that guy with the guitar, and I'm like, okay, and stuff happens. I don't even know.
This last week, he was on PBS's Finding Your Roots. Which is a show about like family trees and stuff. Mm-hmm. And his story is actually very compelling because he has like this really hard background and this hard life story. And he went on the show and he discovered his roots, and he's a very like caring and like thoughtful person. And it was amazing. I don't watch Once Upon a Time in Mexico. Watch Finding Your Roots with Danny Trejo, also featuring Cyndi Lauper in the same episode. It's freaking fantastic.
Yeah. See, my problem with a lot of these genealogy shows and Finding Your Roots shows is that everybody sits around going like, oh, I never realized who I was until I understood where I came from. I'm like, but why? Your roots, yes, it's interesting to find out where your family came from and how you came into existence, like how these things connected. Sure. But at a certain point, you know who you are. You don't need somebody to tell you that you're related to Abraham Lincoln to be like, oh, now I understand myself. Like, no.
It was really interesting for him, though, because he came from a background that like didn't offer much opportunity outside of organized crime and construction, and
well, for him, like,
and toxic machismo, which he says. And so like he said, if he had the perception of like the knowledge of like where his family came from, like you can imagine different avenues for yourself. And I was like, that's true, right? Like if you knew that he had a cattle farming background, like you could pursue this as a feasible future for yourself.
Yeah, but that's a background. Like, the family you're born into, like, your immediate family you're born into, that is the impression of the world that you have.
That's true.
So, if he's born, even if you had, like, 4 ancestors ago, they were, like, the richest people on earth, but then they went bankrupt and now you're in, like, a gutter, you're born in the gutter. Them being rich back in the day doesn't have anything to do with you at that point.
But even to know that, like, you know what, you can pursue agriculture or like it's just a different worldview, right? But like it's so much more open than what you've been exposed to.
But that's the thing. He is one of the people who did find those different avenues because growing up, he was in jail. He was part of gangs. He got tattooed head to toe. He didn't get into acting until his 40s. And then now he's fucking killing it because he wanted an avenue out and was like, I'm gonna do this. And yes, he's had a bunch of roles that are like stereotypical roles, but it's still an avenue for him to get out, get money, and put money back into his community that he grew up in to try to save these kids from what he experienced, which is amazing. But he also did that without knowing that heritage.
Yeah.
So this is what my problem is like, you have all these, rich, successful people on shows like this who are going on like, I would never have understood myself until I did this. I'm like, but you obviously understood yourself. You took those different avenues. You made something of yourself without this history. Even if your history is great, it doesn't make you who you are. It just informs you of your past. I just think people put too much emphasis on that history is, I think, what I'm getting at. And they're just like, I'm never going to make anything if I don't know where I came from. I'm like, that's a fucking lie.
I think it was a great episode. Like,
it was inspirational.
It was inspirational because like, it's cool to hear about his story and like where he comes from and how he even entered acting, because I don't know about you, but I feel like a lot of like, when you watch late night, it's like, Oh yeah, I went to like this really prestigious like acting school, and my family's super rich, and my mom is like super rich, and that's how I got to be an actor.
Or it's like, I grew up in LA, and then my friend was an actor, and then I went with them to an audition, and then they're like, hey, does your friend want to do it? And I was like, yeah, and then I became an actor, and it's like, really?
No, but this is super cool for him. Like, he was in jail for 10 years, and he was a legit, like, had real life experiences, and like, and I think it is inspirational.
I know, I do agree with you. I think Danny Trejo's story is one of the few stories about the U.S. justice system that goes against what usually happens. Because usually what happens is, like, people get out of jail, they can't get jobs, they can't integrate back in society because they've been in jail already. But the whole point of jail is to rehab you. And for him, it made him realize he needed to do something else. He did rehab, he couldn't get a regular job, and then he made something great about himself. And I think that dude, before this show, don't get me wrong, I think this show is fine. Watch the show if you want. I'm just being a jerk about it because I find, like, you'll have like Tom Hanks on there, or like again, you get that whole like, oh, well, I grew up here and I'm all fancy and stuff. But now I know I was like related to Thomas Jefferson and I understand where my greatness comes from. I'm like, go fuck yourself. I think maybe that's what my problem is because I've seen too many of those ones. But no, I agree with you. Like Danny Trejo's story is a great story. Like rags to riches, redemption, the whole, like he's gone through all of the things.
Yeah.
And he's a good person still.
And not only that, like he's trying to represent the thing in pop culture that like he's trying to actively like fight against, right? Like that toxic way of being. Like he doesn't want to be that, but he's representing it in a way that kind of makes you realize like, oh yeah, this is real bad.
Yeah. Well, because he does it in a way where like, no, like most of his characters end up dead or maimed or something because you're like, this is not a way to live because this is what will happen to you. It's not cool. It's not okay. It's horrible. And you're going to die. That's it. Don't go this way. But I think like with a lot of things, people are taking it the wrong way. They're just like, but he's so cool. I'm like, as a person, yes. As his characters in the movie, not so much.
Yeah, they're never usually very successful. Or they don't go far.
Yeah, they end up getting murdered because they try to two-time people. Like what happened in this movie,
They're tragic.
Or they get murdered by aliens on other planets.
What movie was that?
Predators?
Oh, was he a predator?
No, he got kidnapped from Earth and taken to a predator planet and hunted by predators. But he was like the first person to die. I was so angry. I was so angry. And then they used his body as a trap to lure the other humans to save him. Dang. They're like, it's a trap. And then like other people died. But like the two coolest people in the movie died the dumbest way. Because there's also like a dude who's like with Yakuza and he gets like a samurai sword and stuff.
Oh yeah, I remember
and
that.
He was like fighting, he was about to fight a predator and they cut away from the fight. And I was just like, are you fucking kidding me? And then when you go back, it's like 3 seconds and then he's dead. I'm like, I hate this. He would have more skill than this. What are you talking about? No. Unacceptable. But then Topher Grace lives to the end of the movie. Turns out he's just like a psycho, like killer dude who like injects people. I'm like, what? And how did he live to the end of the movie? I don't fucking know. It's fine. It's fine.
I'm rewriting the song. Oh, Topher Grace. It's not as satisfying as Danny.
No, stick with Danny Trejo. I get it, yeah. Stick with Danny Trejo.
You're never going to hear the song the same way.
No. Also, I'm not a huge fan of Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga.
I know. I get a little bit of flack from it because I know a couple people who love Lady Gaga, and I was just like, she can go over there. I don't like. I have people are just like, oh, but they've done all of these things and they've come like come over adversity and I'm like, I didn't say I didn't think their career was good. I didn't say, you know, what they've done for themselves hasn't been a great thing. It's just not for me. I'm not a fan of her, but what she's done for herself, good for her.
Yeah.
She did it. She's one of those people who did have to work very hard for her career. She did have to do a lot of things. But then she came out and I was like, I don't need this in my life. That's it. I don't hate her. I don't think about her is what my problem is. I'm like,
I'm on the deep end. Watch as I dive in. I'll never reach the ground. Float to the surface where they can't hurt us.
Which song is that?
We're far from the shallow now.
Is that Born This Way?
No, it's from the movie. In the shallow.
Oh, is that
low? Think Oscar.
Oh no, I never watched that movie.
Bradley Cooper. Oh, come on.
God, the
You made me watch both of these movies, and you didn't watch A Star Is Born, which is a 3-time remake.
Didn't I just say I don't care about her? Why would I watch this movie?
Why would I watch these movies? I didn't watch these movies ever before.
Because you said to put you on whichever episode I felt like or didn't have any other people. And everybody else was like, I don't know what this shit is. I'm not doing it. And I was like, hey, Sarah, you want to do this? She's like, oh, okay. That's why you're here.
I'm the backup.
Yes. Oh my God. Don't worry, you're gonna be on other good episodes where you're gonna watch movies that you like. Hopefully. But no, these ones were no. Once Upon a Time in Mexico was extremely bad.
Yes, it was so bad.
Extremely
even like the
bad.
fake explosion action, which I usually get on board for, I didn't even like it in this movie.
Yeah, like there's the one part where like in his memory they're like jumping off of a bus and for no reason there's an explosion in the background.
Yes.
And you're just like, why is this happening?
Garbage.
I don't know what this is. Like it made no sense. Like even like his memories of things happening made no sense.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Yeah.
About any of it.
I love the fact that we're just like picking random scenes and because we can't describe the actual movie.
It's so bad.
It just it's all over the place and it just doesn't make
I think we're doing it justice.
Yeah? Okay, I think that's fine. Like I am not encouraging you to see this movie. All I'm saying is we cannot properly describe the nonsensical badness of this movie to you properly.
Okay. Is there anything you liked about this movie?
Well, we mentioned Danny Trejo.
Danny Trejo is the best thing about this movie.
He was fine. No. No. Like, I just...
Did you like Mickey Rourke's dog?
I mean, it was a cute little chihuahua.
Yeah. Those are the two things I liked about this movie.
I literally am sitting here trying to think of like, what did I like about this movie? And my notes aren't helping because they're all negative things. And I really can't think of anything that I actually liked about this movie. You know what I liked about this movie? So Cheech Marin is talking about El Mariachi doing an assassination attempt, and in his story they're in a bar, but for some reason the physical bar is on tracks and the bartender just keeps moving it out of the way back and forth.
Yeah, that was funny.
And I thought that was funny. There you go. Positive thing. Okay. That's within the first 5 minutes of the movie. Done.
Okay, I have one note.
Okay.
That I said I like Antonio Banderas' hair because
no, it works. Yeah.
It's like a Rachel haircut, but like a couple years after the peak Rachel haircut time. So I think it's kind of vintage.
Yeah. Well, it did come out. When did Friends stop? Because this came out in 2003. When did Friends stop?
I feel like peak Rachel hair would have been like late 90s or early 2000s.
Yeah.
So this would have been a couple years after that.
Oh yeah, Friends like 1994 to 2004. So yeah, they definitely would have been past peak
past peak Rachel hair, and I feel like it was kind of a throwback because like you could definitely see the layers. Also the one thing I did like, but it's also super cheesy, like there's just like a bunch of like Antonio Banderas has like arms fully extended and shooting and then going in circles, which I feel like is like a little boy's dream for what a shootout should look like. But in actuality and practicality, you should never have a shootout like that because you would instantly be dead.
Well, generally having a shootout would mean you'd probably get hurt and shot. Because in real life, the bad guys don't have that bad of a name.
Right.
And if you're like in the middle of a courtyard and bad guys are like surrounding you and you're just shooting in a circle, you're gonna get hit by something.
But I like the fantasy that like he still gets to, Salma Hayek dies, and even though she's the most deadliest woman alive, but he gets to live for having these badass gunshots. Yes. Like I don't understand.
Agreed. I mean I get it. Like my thing was his like, what do you call, like, accomplices or the rest of his band or whatever that show up at the end, that it includes Enrique Iglesias. For some reason he has a guitar case that is a flamethrower, but the other
he has a gun, a guitar gun, remember at the beginning?
Oh yes, Antonio Banderas has a guitar gun. That's actually a thing that is in the other movies. Like that's like his thing. That's his whole thing. So Antonio Banderas has a guitar gun. Enrique Iglesias has a gun case that has a flamethrower that comes out the front of it. Now the other dude has a bomb that you can set and you put the case down and remote control it to blow up somewhere else. This is the technology we're working with in this movie. I love it.
Pre-Mission Impossible.
Is it?
Is it?
I mean, not the TV show.
Not the TV show.
The movies. Missions. Yeah, no, this is after Mission Impossible. That first Mission Impossible came out in 1996.
Okay.
It's been a while.
So yeah, it's definitely not holding up by action moving standards.
Not at all, in any way, shape, or form.
This is definitely D-list action movie because we have high expectations. Like, even in like I remember just laughing about how farcical some of the action sequences are in this, because like we've at this point if we had watched this when it came out, and I don't know if I did, like we'd already seen The Matrix. Like we have high expectations. Like we expect big things, and this is not trying to hit that bar.
No, it's not in any way. Like the bar is so low in this movie because even if you think about like Michael Bay movies and how outlandish some of those action sequences are, like we've seen Bad Boys, right? I think the Transformers wouldn't have come out yet. Transformers came out after, right?
I don't know.
But like think about like Michael Bay movies, how ridiculous some of the action sequences are, but at this point in time, we've seen those Michael Bay movies, and even that ridiculous action lives up way better than this ridiculous action, right? It's just not working. And I know Robert Rodriguez is known for his like outlandish, big things. That's what he does. And this is it's just bad.
Yeah, it's
like,
bad.
It's just bad, And the funny thing is one of the credits, it actually says he shot, chopped, and scored the movie. And then later on, it says it's written and directed by Robert Rodriguez. So we can blame him for all of this. This is what I'm saying. We blame him for all of it. Because you can't blame the costume designer for a bad movie. No. You can't blame the lighting guy for a bad movie. You can't blame the casting director for this level of bad movie. Because personally, I mean, except for Johnny Depp, I think it was well cast for what they were doing. I just didn't know what they were doing.
Except for Willem Dafoe.
Oh, Willem Dafoe was
that was tragic.
He just had like a weird fake tan and
bad dye job.
Yeah, I don't.
Why?
And then at the end, do you think that was actually Willem Dafoe still in like the bandages, or do you think they had like a stand-in?
He was not showing up to any more filming.
Right?
He's like, yeah, I'm done.
I mean, but Willem Dafoe is known for doing like weird, outlandish things. Like, but I bet you he was just like, yeah, this is too stupid. I don't want to be in this anymore. I'm okay. I'm just gonna walk away from this nonsense. The sad thing is about, I mean, it's not this one. in this trilogy that made Antonio Banderas famous. It was like El Mariachi and Desperado. But that's what made him like a name.
Did it?
Yeah, like that was like super early in his career.
I don't know. I only really know him from Puss in Boots.
That's acceptable. I still haven't watched the new one yet. Yeah.
Oh, I have not watched the new one either, but I imagine it would be better than this movie.
Well, El Mariachi came out in 1992.
Okay.
So, like, this was, like, early in his career. And he would, at that point in time, he was already, like, known in like, Latin American places, I want to say. I'm trying to be very PC about my terms right now. But
well,
like,
wasn't this movie, like, was there a Mexican version of El Mariachi before this came out?
Well, no, but this is all
the original.
This is the original. Like this whole concept is Robert Rodriguez's concept, right? And like it's just like I don't know. It's just bad. Wait, no, he's not even El Mariachi in the first one. It's somebody else who's El Mariachi. And he shows up in Desperado. Is that what it is? Yeah, I think so. Yeah. And he takes over. So, hold on. What year did Desperado came out? In 1995. So that was not a crazy long time after that first one. And Salma Hayek was in it as well. I love that you pull up Antonio Banderas. Puss in Boots trailer comes out.
Yes!
They know what we're going for. They know what we're going for.
I feel like it would be a better movie than this.
Oh, definitely. It's Oscar nominated now. What? Oh my, some of these Oscar movies, I don't understand what the fuck
this
they're
year?
doing. Yes.
Oh, I don't know.
I have seen 2 of the Oscar nominated Best Picture movies. It's Avatar and it's Everything Everywhere All at Once. Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Well, Everything Everywhere All at Once is amazing.
Yes, and it deserves its nomination.
All of the noms.
Avatar, however, what the that is not a Best Picture anything.
That's
like
rich white man nom.
Yeah, like I don't like. Why is that being nominated for Best Picture?
James Cameron.
It makes no fucking sense. Okay, it makes no sense.
That's called the ego builder.
Ugh, it's so fucking annoying. So yeah, no, I was right. Okay. So like before Desperado, yeah, it's just all like Spanish language stuff that he was in. Oh yeah, he showed up in Philadelphia as the love interest.
Oh right,
that's right. And then of course it's like Interview with the Vampire and
yes.
everything. And then Desperado came out, and
vampires. That's why I have the association. Yes, vampires.
Another reason, yeah. But yeah, I remember seeing Interview with the Vampire and being like, who's that guy? And then seeing like Desperado, I was like, oh, that's that Antonio Banderas guy. And then he just started showing up in a bunch of random things, like 4 Rooms, which I've talked about. He's great in that one.
Yeah, it's
and then movie. Oh my god, Assassins with Sylvester Stallone. Horrible movie. Don't rewatch that one. It's not good.
I don't think I ever watched that movie.
And that's absolutely fine. It's okay. Oh yeah, he's in Evita.
Oh yeah,
he's in a whole bunch of stuff.
Musical.
Yeah, Frida.
Oh
yeah, Spy Kids. You know.
Oh, Antonio Banderas.
You're just gonna pick names.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
It's not as satisfying as Danny.
No, he's just got the perfect.
Yeah,
it just works. Yes. Okay, maybe I'm gonna like that song a little bit better.
Yes. You're gonna love it now
because I'm gonna be like, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with all of that. Yeah. But yeah, no, like
he wants your love. He wants your revenge. He doesn't want to be friends.
Danny Trejo. I'm down with it. It's fine. But yeah, no. That was like the movie that made Antonio Banderas like a thing.
Puss in Boots?
Yes, totally Puss in Boots. Until Shrek started and he was Puss in Boots in Shrek, he was nothing.
He was nothing.
Absolutely nothing. Spy Kids 2? What? What are you talking about? That's psychotic. Expendables? Oh, God. Oh, they're so bad.
I don't think I watched.
You don't need it. You don't need it. The funny thing is, I am one of those people that movie is technically made for. You're just like, you grew up watching all of the fucking action movies with like Bruce Willis and Arnold Schwarzenegger and, you know, Antonio Banderas and like Dolph Lundgren and like all of the people. Jet Li's in there, Terry Crews in it. Like, I was like, I watched these people blow up half the fucking world. This movie is for me. Go to watch it. I'm like, this is the worst piece of shit I've ever seen in my fucking life. And I'm like, I know I'm supposed to like this. Like, I know it's supposed to be like a dumb action flick. And you're like, you're just supposed to watch shit blow up and people get kicked in the face and shot. And I was just sitting there going, none of this is working for me. I hate this. This is so bad.
It's not even pandering.
Yeah, and they made 3 of them. And it makes me angry that I've seen all 3 of them. Because I'm a horrible person.
Well, they took your money.
They took my money. Van Damme shows up. I'm like, well, I got a show for Van Damme. Like, what? He plays the bad guy? Ugh. The thing is, he plays a good bad guy. It's just not for that movie. It's just, everything around it is horrible. Like, it's just, it's ridiculous. Okay, that's a different discussion. I'm sorry. We're just gonna ignore all of that. We gotta come back to it. It's fine.
It's expendable.
It's see, this is why we're friends. This is allowed. This is acceptable. But yes. What were we talking about? Oh yes, piece of shit. Yeah, I think people understand how we feel about this movie.
Yeah, we don't like this movie.
We don't like this movie at all. It's just bad in every way and should just be burned, and I should take it off my shelf or throw it out of my box, whatever.
I'm also really unhappy about Salma's outfit choices because like, what the hell, man? Like, she can't wear like a proper outfit she's just all leg and midriff in this movie.
Yes.
And heaving bosoms. Like,
the funny thing, there's literally only 2 women in this movie. And
Eva.
One is in a memory, and then randomly Eva Mendes, and she's surrounded by a bunch of dudes and shooting people, and we don't know why.
Eva does a bunch of hair flips though. Like, she does. Oh, and she has a really. There was one thing that made me extra angry in this movie is when she's in an elevator and the camera is like shooting up at her, and it's just like the most awful angle to show her boobs, and I was like, fuck you. Whoever decided that angle was appropriate to show Eva. And I was just like, you're just diminishing her so much. You don't care that she's a talented actor. I was so angry at that.
According to the credits, it's Robert Rodriguez. So yes.
Fuck you, Robert.
Like, I mean, if you watch movies like Planet Terror, where it's very clear that his whole view is to make a woman an object, you get over it. But the difference between Planet Terror and this movie is that Planet Terror is ridiculous, but it makes like even the smallest amount of sense, right? So you're just like, oh, this is what the story is. You have military working with this chemical. They've infected themselves. They start infecting the town around them. They have to be stopped. And she gets her leg cut off. And instead of going to the hospital, they attach a machine gun to it and she shoots zombies. We get it. That is the story.
It's super camp.
Yeah, it's super camp. It's super cheesy. You know, dude tries to rape her and his dick falls off. Horrible and everything. But at least his dick falls off. He gets what he deserves. Fine. But we understand what that movie is.
But this movie is like 90% men who aren't being objectified at all. Mm-hmm. And then like the 2% of the time that women are on screen, they're just being objectified to all hell. And you're just like, what the hell? Like, this is so disparaging from the rest of the movie. It's intense and obvious. Like, Antonio Banderas isn't being objective. He's not getting crotch shots. Yeah. Like, Johnny Depp
doesn't even take off his shirt.
No. He's a fucking musician. He could show some nip.
Yes. I'm like, you're supposed to be like the sexy Latin man who's, you know, exotic and erotic. And he walks around and he plays like, they show close up of his face while he's playing like the guitar and he's like, you know, and you're just like,
Enrique Iglesias isn't as sexy in this whole film as the 2 seconds a lady is on screen. And I'm like, I would be insulted if I were him, personally.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm prettier than Salma Hayek.
Yes.
What the fuck is happening?
Look how beautiful I am.
Jeez.
Do you know who my dad is?
My dad is Julio. This is gonna make me sound so old, but when Enrique Iglesias first like came out and was like getting famous for like Hero and all that kind of stuff, somebody was just like, oh my god, like they refer to him like he's a cuss word. Like, what do you mean? It's like they just go around calling him like the son of Julio. And I'm like, yeah, that does sound like a swear. Like that sounds like an insult. You son of Julio. You got away from me. Like it really does. Like, I mean, so he's made an difference. So now he's like Enrique Iglesias. Everybody knows it. But at first you're like, oh no, it's the son of Julio. You're like, yes. I always remember that. I don't know why, but I always thought that was hilarious. Every time I see him, I'm like, ooh, it's the son of Julio.
No, it's hilarious.
We're in trouble. Okay.
The next episode is a very special AEDI recording of Off My Shelf.
I don't know what that means.
It's basically like equity, diversity, inclusion.
Gotcha. So on our episode last week, we made some comments that some people found disparaging, and we'd like to address it today and learn how to come together as a community. That was my I'm giving a speech voice. You're welcome.
This is the Black History Month edition.
Oh, wait, that's true. I can't be racist. Only you. Okay, gotcha. So you got to give the speech. That's letting you know.
I'm not Karen. I'm Sarah.
No, you're Sarah. You ain't Karen.
I ain't Karen.
Hey. Scandal. Yes. Where are we going with this?
We hate Once Upon a Time in Mexico.
We hate this movie. So maybe we should start talking about the movie that I kind of liked.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think it's the greatest movie or anything. It is a little bit older as well. And it's like, as, you know, I would call it a kick-up. But it made more sense. And I didn't hate all of it.
Yeah, I agree. Mm-hmm. I support that.
Yeah, Once Upon a Time in China. This is the first movie I saw Jet Li in, and if you don't know who Jet Li is, you're crazy. He does kung fu things and stuff in movies.
Yeah.
And
proficient martial artist.
There you go. He was in movies like Romeo Must Die, Lethal Weapon 4. Expendables 3. You know, it's fun. I really should know more about this because I've definitely seen a lot more Jet Li movies.
Oh, he's been in
that.
So many things.
So many things. But yeah, it's you know what's really funny about this movie? This movie reminds me of another movie we talked about, which is The Last Samurai, except there was no white savior in it. Yeah. And I was okay with that.
There were white people in it, though.
But they weren't white saviors.
No, and they weren't main characters.
No.
But it was definitely, like, similar about, like, colonialism. And I feel like it was a similar kind of time period, maybe.
Yeah. Well, because it's about, like, you know, the white people coming to China and trying to change the culture.
And the British people, yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the Americans and the British.
Yeah.
And them being, like, Chinese people need to be more like us, essentially.
Right.
And they're just like, no, we have a different way of doing things here. Why don't you do what we do? And then they were kind of like doing this weird sort of slavery thing as well, where they're like lying to the Chinese people, but like, come to America, you'll make lots of money. And then the one guy who's like a stowaway who comes back from America was like, no, it's horrible over there. They treat you like garbage. They kick you to the ground. You don't get any money. You're not a real person when you get there. And he dies horribly. But yeah, they're just like, everything is horrible.
Is that also the guy they called Bucktooth?
No, that's a different guy.
Okay.
That's a different guy. No, Bucktooth. Which one was Bucktooth? No, Bucktooth was one of, like, the people that was at his temple or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. No, this guy, they find he escapes from one, like, the American ship that shows up.
Oh, right.
And he's, like, he's all, like, disheveled and whatever, and he becomes one of the people in the temple that they're, like, taking care of after, like, that one guy, like, goes crazy and, like, shoots a bunch of people. And so they try to help him, and then at the end, he's with, like, the girl that they're trying to save, and then they shoot him and then drag her off to be, like, raped by some captain.
Right.
It's, apparently...
Aunt 13.
Aunt 13. She doesn't get a name.
She doesn't get a name.
Her name is Aunt 13. And
I think she's the only woman in the movie also.
Yes. That's not, like, a... No, there's that white lady in the beginning who tries to put out a fire
Joanne.
with boiling water for some reason. The thing that makes that scene horrible is that, so they bring back, like, a camera and they're going to take a picture, and then the flash goes off too hard because it was essentially, like, gunpowder on, like, a thing that they set on fire. And it literally, Jet Li saves, like, his friend, but there's, like, a bird in a cage. And then this white woman is just like, let me pour boiling water on this bird that's on fire. I'm like, you're not making dinner. What the fuck do you think this is? Like, the thing she reaches for was, like, a boiling kettle. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Anyways, but that scene made me really angry, but then we never see her again, so it's fine. It's okay.
Yeah, get out of here, Joanne.
Ugh. Yeah. But yeah, what did you... Any other thoughts about this movie? I don't know.
It's great action sequences.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it has, like, so many fight sequences. It does. So many cool tricks. I don't know if you have a favorite action sequence, but I have a favorite. It's Jet Li is definitely fighting in it, and there's something about, like, someone, like, rolls down his body, and it's like there's, like, a bunch of signs everywhere, but, like, somebody manages to land on him and then, like, rolls down his... It's just so cool. Like,
is that in the when they're doing the street and, like, the guy's, like, taking down all the signs or whatever, and then falls in front of it?
Yes.
I know what scene you're talking about.
There's so many cool, like, fight scenes and fight sequences and, like, really cool choreography or cinematography or whatever you want to call it. Like, they obviously thought about the fight sequences in this movie. It wasn't just, like, random explosion, jump! Like, it was very thoughtful and very cool. That was the most, I don't know, that was my favorite part of the movie.
And, like, they played really well with, like, the environment around them.
Yes.
And like, they didn't just grab things to just, like, block people. Like, they used the thing in the sequence. So, like, there's a scene with, like, ladders, and they, like, end up on the ladder, and, like, one guy's on one side, one guy's on the other side, but then they, like, lean over to each other, and then they're, like, in a pyramid in the middle, and they're, like, going around in, like, a circle on it and stuff. Like,
cool.
So, like, they use the space and use the things in the space, so everything there is there.
There's, like,
for a
log, remember? There's, like, a cool log site. Like, they're, like, kicking it at each other, but they keep ducking around it, and they kick it towards each other, and, like, it's like the log is, like, another character in the fight scene, because it's, like, another element that could drastically impact how the fight plays out.
Oh, yeah.
But it's cool. Yeah.
They do some really great things in there that's just amazing. Again, this makes me wonder why Once Upon a Time in Mexico was ever made. But yeah, like, this movie came out in 1991. Relatively small budget, and they do some amazing things with it.
There was, like, 3 or 4 more made, like, Once Upon a Time. I don't think I've watched any of the other ones. But...
No, I definitely haven't. Yeah. No. But I enjoyed. I actually was like, this is the movie I was regretting, like worried about watching compared to Once Upon a Time in Mexico, because I was just like, it's subtitled, and, like, it's an older movie, and especially when things are from overseas, they tend to have different ways of, like, telling the stories. So sometimes I find it hard to stick with the story when it's not even that I think the story needs to be predictable. It just needs to be done in a way that is, like, palatable to me.
Yeah.
So I was worried it wouldn't be that level of palatable,
Yeah.
But I watched it, I was just like, no, this is perfectly good. It's fine. Sorry, I giggled because my cat decided that it was time for me to play with him. But yes, it's okay.
I think it has like a lot of that like if you watch something like Kung Fu Hustle, like you could obviously see this Once Upon a Time in China was informing something like Kung Fu Hustle because like there's comedy built into the scenes and like there's like levity and it's not as serious as like other action movies, but the action scenes are very serious. Like they don't like it's not comical, like it's not trying to be Three Stooges, but like it's I don't know, it's enjoyable to watch and still funny. Like there's comedy in it and there's engagement and excitement, but it's not a comedy. It's an action movie.
I think it's like this may make it seem like a bad thing on TV, but it's situational comedy. Like there's a scene where a boss locks his lackey outside because a gang is coming to fight him, and he's like, well, you're gonna fight him. And he's like, and the gang shows up and he's like, yeah, so I was just about to go buy some cabbage or something, he says. And they're like, no, we're here to fight you. You're the one I'm supposed to fight. He's like, no, that guy's not going to be here for 10 minutes. What are you talking about? So it's like, it's funny in that way. Like the guy is trying to talk himself out of this situation, but it's not like, I'm going to tell a joke now.
No,
it's not like that in any way. Yeah.
Or nobody's getting like poked in the eye or like injured in a silly way. It's like, no, the fighting is serious, still deadly, but you're not going to die immediately.
No, exactly, right? Getting punched in the face in a certain way, yes, you will die immediately. But, like, you're going to get punched in the face. It's going to hurt.
Yeah.
Like, just be prepared for that aspect of it. It's okay. But, yeah, no, like, there is, though, so this movie is in Chinese. I don't know if it's Chinese,
it's
right?
either Mandarin or Cantonese.
There you go. That's what I was looking for. So it's subtitled. But the thing is that like when you're reading the subtitles, it's very clear something is lost in the subtitles in like certain scenes because it's not written in normal English, if you understand. Like, it's written in English by somebody who reads the dictionary or like learned English from a book, not somebody who just speaks it colloquially, right? And so you're reading it, you're just like, do you think that's what that means? Like, I feel like even though she doesn't have a name, I feel like Aunt 13 is not a proper translation about like what he calls her, for example.
She has a name.
Yes. But like, okay, so my question is so it's very clear Jet Li's character and this Aunt 13, they have like a love for each other in like a way that is you're not related to each other. But like they're like, no, we can't do this, blah blah blah. But they're not actually related because later on they talk about you're like the 13th person I grew up with or something. Like he says something about growing up with her, but I don't actually understand what their relation to each other is.
Yeah, and they don't actually have a love story either.
They kind of try to put it in there, but it never goes far enough. Right. Like, it keeps getting shut down throughout the story.
Maybe it manifests by the 5th movie.
Maybe. I don't know. But even at the... Okay, so I'm going to bring this up a little bit early, because one of the things that... So, when the movie starts, Aunt 13 has just come back from a trip from North America. No, it's North America.
Oh, okay.
She comes back from America. And so she's dressed like people of that time. So she's in like her garters and the skirt and like she's got the hat. She's dressed like a Westerner, not like someone who's Chinese. And she wants to measure him for like a suit, like a Western suit. And at one point he says, I will not wear a Western suit until China is recognized and every other Chinese man is wearing a Western suit. That's what he says. And then by the end of the movie, so like the whole thing is that he is fighting against this colonization and the misuse of his Chinese people throughout it. And then of course there's a corrupt gang who's trying to help the Americans and British get the Chinese people and, you know, get like hookers and all this kind of stuff.
Sex workers,
I should say. I apologize. to go to America and all this kind of stuff. So he's abusing his fellow man essentially. And so at the end of the movie, he stops at least one part of it, but then he comes back out. He doesn't even like, they don't even talk about it, but he comes back out in this like Western suit to get a picture taken with this Anne 13 who's in her Western garb as well. And I'm just like, what does this mean? Like, I don't, and that's the last scene of the movie. And I'm like, I don't understand why he would do this, if you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
like
What his motivations are.
Yeah, because to me, his original motivations were justified and he should never wear the suit. But why is he suddenly wearing the suit and looking happy about it? What do you think? This is my question.
So I have to say, much of the story about this movie was lost on me. Like, I don't know what was really happening.
Oh, no, I actually, like, again, like, throughout the movie, it was, like, 3 different stories, and then at the end, they kind of came together. So I sort of got it, on, like, a baseline. This is what I mean by, like, I think some stuff was lost in translation, because some things just don't add up in a certain way, but by the end of the movie, I was like, oh, this is what they meant by this. That's how I felt about it. But yes, continue. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm a big question mark on what the story about this movie really is, because I understand there's kind of like 3 factions. So it's about colonialism, it's about local kind of a militia structure versus these traditional people that were, I don't really know even why they were fighting. So I just know that there was tensions and fighting, and they produced good action sequences. So yes. I was here for the action sequences. I wasn't super aware of the love story. I was completely unaware of the story.
Oh. No, I get it. Don't worry. Yes. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like I don't know. The story was kind of secondary to the action for me. Like, the action sequences alone, so good. Like, yeah, I didn't need anything else. And like, there's like cool, like, I'm sure they were kind of making cool historical references too, but I'm like, I didn't even really care about that so much. I was just like, yeah, it's a really good fight sequence.
Yeah. No, I get it. No, that is.
And Jet Li was amazing. Yeah. And yeah, a lot of the actors were really good. So like, I can't even really say for certain what happened in this movie or why this movie or what's going on.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay. So this is what I gleaned from watching the movie. Okay. I am not 100% sure if this is correct, but this is what I got. So the movie starts with Jet Li on a ship with like a commander or whatever.
Oh, and there's a dragon dance.
Happy
Lunar New Year, by the way.
And like some white people start shooting at them because they start setting off fireworks, and they're like, oh no, they're trying to kill us. And so they start shooting back at them, and they're like, they've never seen fireworks before. Whatever. But the whole thing is like the commander is setting off, and he leaves Jet Li there to like train the local militia in kung fu and stuff, so they don't lose their heritage, essentially, with all these, like, white people that are showing. Because he's like, look at all these ships that are in our borders of, like, people we don't know, essentially. And so Jet Li stays, and then, but the ships keep coming back in. And he has his own, like, in China, it's a dojo, right? Like, he's got his own, like,
that's Japan,
temple.
That's Japan, sure.
Right? Okay. But he's got his own, like, place where he, like, teaches people, and he's got, you know, like, his own students and all this kind of stuff, and he's teaching them like the arts and how to fight. But it's like his whole thing is like, no, you don't fight people. If somebody fights you, you protect yourself. That's his whole thing. Now on top of that, there is like, again, like a gang essentially who is extorting money out of the locals. Be like, you want protection money? You want to be protected? You have to give us money. And he's like extorting protection money out of people and stuff. And they're trying to stop him. And then there's the Westerners that are showing up who are negotiating with like I think they call him like the governor of the place. I don't think that's the right translation, but they call him like the governor of the place. And to like sell off people and land and have like their own private places there and all this kind of stuff. And so there you go. You have like the Westerners, you have the gang, and you have like their militia of people who are holding on to like Chinese
But two
tradition.
types of Westerners, because there's English people and there's
the
American. Yeah.
Yes. And so what happens essentially is, so the one person that connects all these things together is this one guy who is trying to figure out his place in the world, but he works for the local theater, and he is like he's not good at anything, and he's trying to find a master, and he's trying to find like a job. And so first we see him at the theater, then we see him trying to get like Jet Li to be his master, and then he finds like another master. He gets in trouble with like the gang, and then he finds another master. Then he finds that master is working for the gang essentially in like the worst way. So what happens essentially is like Jet Li's like trying to keep the peace, but there's the gang who is like fighting their own people, and then they get in trouble during a fight. It goes into like the western area of town or whatever, and like destroys stuff.
Oh, in the restaurant.
In the restaurant or whatever. And the Western people are like, you need to get your fucking shit together and these people out of here, or else we're not bringing our business and all this kind of stuff. And then the gang's just like, look, we're going to bring sex workers for the people to keep them in line, all this kind of stuff. So they start kidnapping women around town and all this kind of stuff. But the militia is the one who they're like, oh, we're going to arrest you if you keep doing stuff. And they're just like, and then they start trying to stay out of trouble, but everybody keeps coming after them. So they defend themselves. And of course it makes a bigger deal. And then at the end of the movie, what happens is like, so Aunt 13 gets kidnapped. So they go and find her, and they're on the ship, the American ship, I think. And so like the Americans get into the fight, and then there's like the gangs and whatever, and they're like, we need to stop you guys. And like, essentially like they fight all like the bad dudes, and like they win. And so, yeah, it's about, Chinese heritage or something. I don't know. But about like keeping the peace and being who we are and not letting.
But what about that other? There's like another master guy that like shows up and like fights Jet Li too.
Yeah, because he is desperate for money because he wants to open his own school, right? But because he has never beaten like a great master, nobody wants to give him money for it. But then he finds this gang, and this gang was like, if you beat him, we'll give you money to start your own school and people will follow you, right? And then that's when that one guy is like, I can't follow you anymore because you're dishonest, like this is not the right way to do things. And then because he loses belief in that guy, essentially. And then, yeah, so then that guy fights Jet Li, but he's fighting him for the wrong reasons. He's fighting him for money, not for, like, honor or whatever, right?
I mean, if you're fighting for anything, are you fighting for anything?
That's the real question. That's the real question, But, yeah, no, they make the Westerners, like, absolute barbarians, which I think is great.
Oh, yeah. There's like some weird Russian guy that it's like, yeah get him out here.
Yeah. And they are so gun hungry.
Yes.
Every time anything happens, you're like, just mow everybody down with your gun. You're like, yeah, that sounds about right.
We're at the theater. Let's shoot everyone.
Yeah. You're like, oh, two guys are fighting over there. Just murder everybody in front of us. It's fine.
This whole audience, pow pow.
Yeah. And they're just like, stop shooting. These are just random locals here to see theater, and there's two guys fighting in the corner. Why are you shooting everybody? It's a whole thing. But that's what I got out of it.
I think you got more than I did.
Okay. That's fine. But like so one of my things, like a very serious question for a relatively unserious movie that I came up with is that like, so Eastern cultures are often, considered to be xenophobic, like Japanese and Chinese and stuff. But I was like, are they xenophobic, or is it the fact that they're so far east and all of those colonizers went east that way? They heard the stories of the horrible things that happened before they got there and was just like, maybe we need to stop this before this happens. maybe that's what it is. It's not xenophobia. It's more just like, you're bad people and we know this.
Well, I mean, I think it's interesting that it's trying to acknowledge a certain history and like complexity of colonialism.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty cool to hear it from a non-Western perspective. I think that's pretty cool. Even if it's just like it's not a Hollywood movie, but...
It's not, no, yeah.
But yeah, it's like definitely somebody's tale of their perspective of what they perceive to have happened in a certain period of time. Or I think it's trying to. Is it a fictionalized version? The same for Once Upon a Time in Mexico. Like, is this a fictionalized version of a story that we should be hearing, or is this just fiction?
Once Upon a Time in Mexico is definitely just fiction. I think overall this is a fictionalized, like Once Upon a Time in China, I think it's overall a fictionalized story, but it definitely represents a certain things that happened in that time period.
Or they're trying to represent something.
Yeah. Like they're trying to really do something, unlike the Mexico one. No, in the China one, they're trying to actually say something, which is fine and acceptable, and I understand it.
And I think that's pretty cool too, that they like, this would have been the early 90s, and like, who knows what kind of audience it would have gotten at the time, but that's neat. Like if we think about us watching movies in the early 90s, like, did we have this kind of perspective in our film watching?
Definitely
no,
not.
right? Yeah, like,
yeah, but I don't even think this is the kind of movie that was like, you know, it's gonna open in 20 million theaters in North America. Like, no. I think this was just like, it's, you know, it's the weekend and they've got like, you know, those like kung fu movies at like 2 p.m. and here's one of them. Like, right. That's where I would have seen something like this.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's not, because it's not a Hollywood movie, a lot of people would not have known it. But at the same time, it's probably, like, if you like a good amount of action, it's a decent movie to watch.
It's a solid, for sure. The action is a solid, absolutely. Jet Li is freaking amazing. Yeah. The other actors as well, like, pretty amazing. Even though I hate their names. Like, they all have, like, these terribly derogatory names. Bucktooth, Porky.
Yeah, it's because he's a guy he sells pork in the market. They call him Porky, and he's fat.
But his name is literally Wing, but they call him Porky.
That is correct. Yes. Oh, God. I don't even have that many notes for this one either. Because the thing is, when you're watching subtitles, you gotta watch subtitles. Taking notes is hard at that point. I got a lot of reading to do. It's fine. And one of my other things that bothered me about it, which is probably how it was at the time, where, like, my note is they show up pushing their culture instead of observing and participating in local culture. Because in this movie, it's like, all the white people are just like, well, why aren't you wearing a suit? Why aren't you eating like this? Why aren't you doing this? And I'm just like, but you're in their country. I mean, shouldn't you be like, hey, what are you eating? Can I have some? How are you doing that? Let's do whatever. Like, don't be like, hey, be my circus clown or whatever. But, you know, observe, try to participate. Learn something instead of being like, if you're not like me, you're nothing. Like, that just seems wrong.
So I was so completely distracted watching this movie because, like, you already mentioned we have to read the subtitles, but in the version that you lent me, the possibility for dubbing was you could watch the Mandarin dubbed or the Cantonese dubbed, but I was watching whatever version that they weren't originally speaking. So I was so completely distracted by, why aren't their words matching their mouth? Why can't I get that version?
Well, you have to turn off the dub at that point. Then it's Mandarin or whatever.
Because it was like, I didn't know which one it was. I didn't know if it was Mandarin or Cantonese, and I kept flipping between the two, but it didn't. Neither one of them seemed right. Yeah. Or both of them were dubbed, maybe. I don't know. And so I'm trying to, like, navigate both that and the subtitles. It was confusing.
Yeah.
That's probably why I didn't notice what was happening in the story.
There you go. That might be. You're just like, you're looking at their mouths, like, this just isn't working.
Why isn't this matching? I hear your words, but that's not what your mouth is saying.
Yeah. The funny thing in this movie, so you have a bunch of, like, if you pay attention, in whatever version you watch, the, like, British and Americans speak English in this version of it, they're speaking English somehow. But if you look at their mouths, they're clearly speaking, like, Chinese or Cantonese or whatever. If you're probably over there, that's the language they were speaking. But in this version, it's everybody's speaking Chinese and Cantonese, and then the Americans talking. It's like, no, Steve, jump over there. And you're like, what? What is happening? That doesn't match your mouth either. What is going on? This is strange. They chose what they chose. It's still better than Once Upon a Time Mexico.
Yes, it's still better than
That's all I'm saying. Yeah, again, those are like most of my notes. I was like, I already talked about her picking up boiling water to put on the bird. And 13, why doesn't she have a name? And why the Western Stew at the end. Those are all of my notes for this movie. I was paying attention. See, I got the story. I got there. I made it. I was cool with it.
And Jet Li was amazing. Except I was really unhappy for his, like, makeup artist. Because, like, he had, like, obviously this is early in his career. And he had some like, skin issues. But his makeup artist didn't do him any favors. And I was just, like, looking at the blotches on his neck. And I was like, oh, Jet Li, you deserve better than this.
I hope you got some cream for that.
I mean, later in his career, I'm sure he got a proper makeup artist.
Yeah. But that's what happens when you get a makeup artist on a budget. It happens.
Right.
But no, I thought it was like, and it held up well. Like,
yeah, it was great.
Except for the fact that there's only one woman, and then at the end of the movie, of course, she's used as a prop to get raped, because that's how you save women. If that's what's happening.
Yeah, that scene was super cringe, by the way. It was like, he was undoing her top, and I was like, please don't do this. Yeah. Please stop.
Yeah, because he, like, knocks her out. Like, she's out. And then it's like, I'm still going to do this to you. But the thing is, what I liked about before that happened is that she did not technically play the damsel in distress.
No.
She didn't sit back and was like, just let it happen to me. She was like, no.
Fighting.
I'm going to try and stop this. So she, like, barricades the doors and holds out as long as possible. He still breaks in. And then she, like, fights back. But then he knocks her out. And then that's when he overpowers her, essentially. Because she literally is out cold. So it's just like, oh, you're not overly the dancer. You're just like, oh no, don't do it. And he's just doing whatever he wants.
And he's bleeding profusely through his head.
Yeah,
that
was
was
like, dripping on her.
Oh my gosh! And they keep doing this weird close up of his eyeball and the blood in his eyeball.
Yeah, and it's so because he also can't see, but he's still insistent on doing this.
I was like, if you were like manically bleeding through your forehead, would you be like, "Hey, gotta commit this rape right now"? Right?
But I also think that was like, this is how bad this man is.
Yeah,
we're gonna show you how evil he is. Like, this is how far it goes. But I still don't like the fact that they just use women as this like random prop in there. Like, it's just they barely have any personality. They don't really have anything to say, and you're just like, okay, can you like do something with them at least for like a second? It would be great.
Yeah, she's totally Princess Peached.
She really is. I hope in the Mario movie, like, they may give Princess Peach like a proper character.
Oh, I have zero hope for that Mario movie because, like,
we're gonna watch it.
Oh, though. Of course we're gonna watch it. But I mean, if a man is like offering you to take you to his castle, it's like Epstein, Nygaard, or Bowser.
No in between. That's it. Okay? Those are all of your options.
This is how you die, ladies.
Yes. That's it. It's all horrible. But I really hope this movie, I mean, I don't hate Chris Pratt as much as other people do right now. I do like him a lot less. But I did really like him in the Lego movie.
He's excellent in the Lego movie.
And the Lego movie, when it was coming out, people were like, this is going to be garbage. How the fuck do you make a movie about Legos? And then they did a great
fantastic
fucking job. And I really hope that's what happens with this movie. That people are going to be like, they did it. Like, they managed to do it. Oh my God. I really hope it's like that. But yeah, no, I really hope they manage to like pull a rabbit out of a hat again. Be like, we made this epic story about this thing that you love, that you never thought was possible, but here it is.
I'm going to give my early critique of the movie, and it's going to be my best impression of Luigi. Wow.
Wait, doesn't somebody actually do Luigi's voice in this movie?
Wow.
Like, he talks in this one, right?
I don't know. That's what he sounds like in Luigi's Haunted Mansion.
Yeah.
Wow.
Also, I think for research for this movie, you guys should watch the original Super Mario Brothers movie. That is pure art. I'm gonna let you know.
I don't think I've seen it.
Oh, it's Charlie Day does the voice for Luigi.
Wow.
I wonder what that's gonna be. It's gonna be interesting. All right. Oh, there's many more people in here than I thought there was. Anna Taylor-Joy, Charlie Day. I didn't know Jack Black was doing Bowser's voice.
Oh.
I'm excited about that.
Yeah, he would be a good Jack Black.
Yeah. I think as Jack Black gets older, I didn't think he'd become more fun and more interesting, but he does. And it's so weird. Like, I don't understand it, but he's a fun person.
He is.
Yeah.
I just rewatched High Fidelity the other day, and he's very enjoyable in that.
Yes.
And that was early in his career too.
Yeah, very. The only movie of his I've never seen Orange County. That's the one that has Colin Hanks in it and Jack Black.
Right.
Like I've never seen that one.
I have vague recollections. I think I have it, and I will lend it to you.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I might keep it for like a year and then give it back and be like, did you watch it?
I
like,
am not
no.
in a rush to ever watch it again.
Wait, so then why are you lending it to me? Wait, sorry. You're not in a rush because you remember it and you hated it? Or you're not in a rush because you're just like, well, it's sitting there and it's not doing anything.
Yeah, what am I doing with a DVD on my shelf?
Well,
I don't have a podcast.
I know what I'm doing with mine. Thank you very much.
I don't have a podcast.
Well, you know what you can do. You're like, I have 3 movies. Here's my podcast. We're like, done. It's over.
Every episode would just be doing covers of Lady Gaga to the main actors.
Every episode is like 4 seconds long. Just random people's names in there. Love it.
Jack Black.
No, it's gotta be O names like Al Pacino.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good
Al
one in
Pacino.
there.
I don't think I have any. Maybe Meet the Fockers.
Robert De Niro.
Oh,
What's
that was
Robert De Niro. No, it's Robert De Niro. That's
right.
The Fockers, right? Yes.
Taxi. No.
Isn't that also Robert De Niro?
I don't know. I can't tell them apart.
Yeah, I can't tell them apart either. They're just like the guys who was in the like random gangster movies.
Some white guy. I don't know.
He's the dude. It's fine. Yeah, I think the last movie I did with Al Pacino. Is it Heat? Yeah, I think it's Al Pacino that's in Heat, and it's one of the few movies of his that I've actually watched because I'm not into like gangster movies. And I remember watching people who were like, oh my God, Al Pacino is such a good actor. He's so good at this and he's so good at that. And I watched the movie and I'm like, he's the worst actor in this whole fucking movie. Like, why are people obsessed with this man? This is so bad. Also, Heat is considered one of like the best thrillers ever made. And I don't know why. It's so bad.
Like, are we talking the... Like, I'm thinking Heat, like Sandra Bullock, Melissa McCarthy.
Okay, that's The Heat.
Okay, sorry.
Very different movie. Very different movie. Okay.
That movie's excellent.
It is. It's so the funny thing is, I know this difference because it was on TV like 2 days ago and I watched the fuck out of it.
It's so good.
It's so good. It's all like buddy cop ladies style where they make fun of each other, but really they make fun of the skinny lady, not the fat lady. But then it's not really about like what you look like. It's more about like your personality. And it's just like they made each other better at the end. And I was just like, you guys are great. and you're taking down the bad guys.
It was hilarious.
Boom.
Yeah,
Love
so
it.
good.
I like that Melissa McCarthy actually makes like women positive movies because like Spy is the same way.
Yes.
Because like they've previously done like, you know, comedy spy movies where like there's a fat guy in it and they just make fun of how fat they are and they're
well, they did that
idiots.
to Rebel Wilson in whatever spy movie she was with Anne Hathaway. That movie was terrible. I can't even remember.
I did not watch it.
Oh my gosh, it was so devastating because I was hoping for...
It's called Scoundrels, isn't it?
Maybe,
because,
yes.
Oh yeah, no, because that was like the female version of Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. And Rebel Wilson was supposed to be like the Steve Martin character and like...
but she's just like self-deprecating humor the whole time. I'm like, this is not the Rebel that I know.
That's a lot. Because if you watch like Pitch Perfect and stuff, she's like, I call myself Fat Amy because I'm fat. My name is Amy, and
she has confidence.
She does have confidence in that. Yes, yeah. She's like, no, I'm owning it. I am not. And she's not saying it
in a derogatory way. It's like, yeah,
that's true. That's true. That is different.
No, but in Scoundrels, she's just straight up like, oh, I'm fat. I can't do this. Like it's instantly obnoxious.
That's not,
and I hated it.
That's not acceptable. I didn't watch it because of Anne Hathaway. So yeah, I'm glad I didn't watch that one. I did.
You like me. You really like me.
I did actually enjoy its. Isn't It Romantic? Actually, that one was really cute. That was really cute.
I like that as well.
But yeah, I find with Rebel Wilson, there's like an on and off with her about like her style of humor. Because I find sometimes it's like that Anne Hathaway one where you're just like it's just like gross and like you're making fun of fat people. Like that's all you're doing, and that's not acceptable. Then it's the other where it's just like, so what if I'm fat? I'm the greatest person ever. I'm like, that's how you're supposed to be.
Yes,
that's okay.
Agreed.
Yeah, and the thing I like about Melissa McCarthy movies though is that she never refers to her size in them whatsoever.
Yeah. Why does it even need to be mentioned?
And this is the thing, and that's what I like about those movies so much, is that she's like this part of of me doesn't actually matter. We're just gonna have a great time.
Oh my gosh, her in Bridesmaids,
so good.
We could watch a whole spin-off movie of just that character, and it could do nothing to do with weddings and nothing to do with love even. Yeah. And I would watch the shit out of that movie.
So good.
It's so funny.
So good.
It's so funny.
Yeah. Because even it's like
it would just be her abducting dogs, I think.
Or her life with those 9 dogs. She's like, I've done too much. I'm like, I want to see this house with you and these fucking dogs.
Yes, I would watch that reality TV show.
Amazing. I just want to know what all their names are. Like, what names do you think she gave? She took 9 dogs. What names do you think these dogs have?
Doesn't she work for like the CIA or something?
Something like that. Yeah.
They would be like all like boss or like, I don't know, Sarge.
Really? I think she'd go like with like classic like alias names, you know, like you're like, that one's Deep Throat and that one's I don't
Hawkeye.
know. Yeah, sure, like Hawkeye. Something like, I think it'd be more in depth than that. You know?
Golden Eagle.
Yeah, one would be like Steve Shamanis. They're like, what? I'm like, that was the alias of like Nixon in '84. Like, what? Who knows this? He's like, shut up. Clearance level stuff. Like, it'd be that kind of thing. You'd recognize like 8 of them. The last one, you'd be like, what name is that? What? I love it. We should write this movie.
Yes.
And be like, hey, Melissa, how's it going? Here's a movie script for you. You will love it. It'll be amazing. Yeah, I'd watch that movie.
Yeah.
I think it'd be good.
I'd watch the hell out of that.
I'd watch the hell out of that. Yeah. Her being a spy is great. I also watched that, it's the one with her and Octavia Spencer, and they're like middle-aged women who happen to get like superpowers and become like superheroes. They don't make fun of their size. They only make fun of their age. They're like, you're an old lady, you can't beat us. And they're like, yeah, we can. And then beats up people.
I don't think I watched that one.
It's cute. It's not great, but it's cute.
What is it? Do you know?
That is a good question.
Dearest Google, might I inquire?
How are you doing today?
Happy Friday. I might kindly request that you would tell me in quick succession.
I've seen a surprising amount of her movies. It is Thunder Force.
Oh, okay.
Same. They're in their superhero.
Oh, yes.
outfits.
There
It's on
are.
Netflix.
I think there's like a weird number of fart jokes in this movie.
There are.
Yes, I totally remember this movie.
Yeah.
I think that's why I was like, yeah. I mean, I enjoyed the hell out of both of those people, but I was just like, why so many fart jokes?
I don't know either.
I mean, I love fart jokes. I'm not disparaging fart jokes. I'm just saying
You need a well-timed fart joke.
right.
Yes. You know. But yeah, it's fun. It's not great, but it's fun. I don't know. I also watched her Super Intelligent.
Is Thunder Force also a fart joke?
Oh my god, I never thought about that.
We should have known.
God, we should have known. Saw Super Intelligence, also not that great. I never watched The Kitchen. I should have watched The Kitchen.
I don't think I watched that one.
Yeah. It's sort of, because it's like the wives of like bad dudes and then they start doing stuff or whatever. So it's like pseudo serious. It actually is like it's based on a true story kind of thing. So it's kind of serious. I think that's why I never got around to watching it. That's my thing. But also, when I found out she'd been on like Gilmore Girls and
yeah, she was Suki in Gilmore Girls.
She was the lady in
Chef.
What's that show with that guy? And it was literally just like it's two fat people fall in love, and that was like the whole joke of the show. What was that show?
I would not watch that show.
Yeah, Mike and Molly. Yeah, no, I never watched that show. And then when she showed up in Bridesmaids, and I was like, that's the chick from Mike and Molly? Maybe Mike and Molly is funnier than this. And then I watched an episode and I was like, no, it's not.
Nope.
And then I'm like, I'm going to like her in the movies.
She's good in Gilmore Girls.
I'm not going to watch Gilmore Girls. I'm going to tell you this right now. This is not a thing that's going to happen.
That's fine.
No.
That's okay.
I worked with a dude from Gilmore Girls. What's that guy's name? I don't remember that guy's name. Hold on. Where's the original? There it is. Her name was Suki St. James.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe we're related. It's fine. I worked with Yannick Truesdale.
Oh.
Yes. People were very excited about that. And I was just like, I don't even know who he is.
Was he the concierge at the hotel?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember him.
Michel Girard. Yeah.
He was very funny in the show.
Sure. I didn't watch the show, so I'm just gonna take.
Was he funny in real life?
No. I'm like, wait, should I say, no comment, or should I just say no? I'm gonna just say no. Okay, and I think honestly, if somebody asks you a question like that and you say no comment, they're like, obviously it's a negative answer.
Right.
So there's no point saying anything else. Just it's fine. It's just so that you don't have like the sound bite about it.
Right.
People understand.
Oh yeah.
Get it.
No. This show was written by the Sherman Palladinos, and I'm sure they made him very funny.
Yes, and he acted the shit out of it, and that's fine. But in person, like he was a fine individual. Like he wasn't like the nicest person you've ever met in your life or anything. But there was nothing wrong with him. He wasn't rude. He wasn't mean. He wasn't anything. I didn't think he was funny. That's it. That's all I got out of it. Done.
That's fair.
Yeah. Yeah, that's my own. Sean Gunn was in Gilmore Girls? What? Oh my god. Alright. That's James Gunn's brother, and he's in like Guardians of the Galaxy and stuff.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. See, this is where my nerd cred comes in. Thank you very much. Oh my god. It happens. My nerdness is different than your nerdness.
We accept that.
In some places.
Intersectionalism.
Is that what that's called?
Yeah.
I'm down with it. I'm okay with all of that. It makes me happy. Jared Padalecki was in this?
Who's that?
He's the supernatural guy.
Oh yeah, he was like one of the early boyfriends.
Oh my god.
He left Gilmore Girls to do Supernatural.
He did the right thing.
Yeah, he did.
Yes. I like the fact that he plays Dean in this, but was Sam in Supernatural.
Yeah.
So going from like Dean to Dean, that would have been hilarious.
That would have been funny. Makes the Dean list.
I see what you did there. Okay. If you can't hear it, but the whole audience is laughing. Laughing. But yes. Okay. I don't know. Do you have anything else to say about these movies?
Watch Once Upon a Time in China. Do not watch Once Upon a Time in Mexico.
Agreed. Okay. I think the audience kind of gets it, but we just need to properly reiterate. Yes.
Solidify
the comments. Yes. No Mexico, yay China. Wait, no, that sounds wrong.
Yes.
Yeah. What
Tune
Sarah
in
said.
for a very special episode of a DEI Tracy talk during Black History Month.
Yes, Black History Month is coming up next week. Yes, we're gonna do this. Thank you very much. I'm sorry, I'm not very PC sometimes. I don't do it. It's not on purpose most of the time.
Sex workers, not prostitutes.
Yes. Correct. No, I think I call them hookers.
No.
Which is even worse.
You can only call people who do rug hooking hookers.
Or crocheters.
Do they call themselves hookers?
But they use like a little hook thing.
I don't know if they call themselves hookers, though.
Oh. They don't call themselves hookers? I would call myself a
That's
hooker.
not PC.
That's what I did. Okay, that's fine. Crocheters are not hookers. I'm sorry.
It's different.
Very different things.
The needle arts are very specific.
Why don't I understand these?
It's pointed.
No. I'm so horrible.
God.
What's wrong with me? Oh my God. Well, that's it for this episode of Off My Shelf. Until next time, you can follow along on Instagram and Twitter at ohmyshelf, or you can send an email to ohmyshelf@gmail.com. On the next episode, we'll be talking about Panic Room and Pauly Shore is Dead. Hope you'll be here to listen. Wait, did I say thank you for joining me?
I think it's implied.
Is it implied? Okay. We did it! Blah, blah, blah.